Hello and welcome to the Amateur Austenite. My name is Frances Duncan. I am an author and the founder of the Jane Austen Society of New Zealand. My very special guest is my mother Brenda.
Hello everyone.
And today we are discussing Chapter 8 of Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. In Chapter 8, the visit to Southerton is resurrected, Fanny is excluded, then Edmund makes sure she's included, Mrs Norris is pissed, but that's Mrs Norris, and then we have their journey to Southerton, and it ends with them arriving at Southerton. Fanny has started writing again, and Edmund congratulating himself and being like, it's fine, she'll be happy now, everything will be good. Then Mr Rushworth turns up with his mother. She's been away, and so she's come to invite everybody to Southerton, because they talked about it previously, but they need an official invitation. So Mrs Rushworth is here to give an official invitation for everybody to visit Southerton to help with the improvements.
And to go with them.
Maria basically tells Mr Rushworth, go and talk to Mr Crawford. You have to make sure he can come. So Mr Rushworth runs off and does what he's supposed to do. Then Mrs Grant and Mary walk in and they start talking about the Southerton scheme, as it's called. It was hardly possible indeed that anything else should be talked of. Because they're so excited about it. Seriously, they're so excited about going to visit someone's house. There's a funny little scene. Mrs Rushworth is trying to get Lady Bertram to come, and Lady Bertram's placid manner of refusal made Mrs Rushworth think that she really did want to come, and so she keeps pushing her about it. And it made me think of Mr Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, where Mrs Bennet wants the whole family to go to Brighton, and he says no, but because he's not being really forceful about it, she thinks that if she keeps pressuring him, eventually he'll say yes.
Yeah, same thing. Gentle bodies.
Mr Bennet doesn't set very good boundaries, maybe?
He can be stubborn too.
Yeah, he's very stubborn. Different book. And they talk about wanting to take Mr Crawford's barouche, which is basically a sports car. They want to take his fancy sports car that doesn't have a roof so they can feel the wind in their hair. Edmund brings up, why aren't we taking our carriage? Why aren't we taking two carriages? Why are we taking this guy's carriage instead of ours?
Is it bigger than the carriage?
Julia says that the chaise will take 3 people, but the barouche will take 4, plus 2 on the box. So the box is the driving seat. So Mr Crawford drives his own barouche rather than having a coachman drive it. And as we see later, Julia gets to sit next to him. Maria is bitchy again for no apparent reason. She bitches out Wilcox, who is their coachman. She calls him a stupid old fellow that does not know how to drive. When Mrs Norris says that he may not want to take their carriage because it might get scratched, because there are narrow roads. I'm not sure if this is an instance of Maria just being generally bitchy, because she is. And it comes up again later when they get to Southerton and she talks about the avenue, and the book points out she suddenly has great knowledge about the avenue that last time it was brought up she pretended she didn't know anything about.
Which makes me think maybe she was being like that because she wasn't the centre of attention, whereas when she came to the avenue, she made herself the centre of attention by talking to everyone about what they see and who they see.
Yeah, she goes through an interesting journey in this chapter because she's really jealous of Julia getting to sit with Mr Crawford because they're still fighting over Mr Crawford. But then, yeah, she starts to feel proud about the fact that they're entering Mr Rushworth's domain and pointing all the things out. One of the things that I thought was quite interesting about that is Mary recognises it and feels sympathy for her. Miss Crawford was not slow to admire. She pretty well guessed Miss Bertram's feelings. So she knows that Maria has feelings for her brother, even though she's engaged to Mr Rushworth.
Yes.
So originally, Fanny is left out of the plan. Mrs Norris basically says in an offhand manner, we don't need her. She needs to stay with Lady Bertram.
Fanny is not up to her level, is she? She's just a little one that belongs out in the country, basically, and she's lucky to have anything she gets, according to Mrs Norris, of course.
Mrs Norris had no affection for Fanny and no wish of procuring her pleasure at any time.
Yeah.
Edmund appeals to his mother, though, and says, I'm sure you would be glad to give her the pleasure. Of course, Lady Bertram's like, oh no, I want her to be happy, of course. If your aunt sees no objection. She's still deferring to Mrs Norris.
It was so self-centred.
Edmund proposes staying home in Fanny's place, and Julia basically runs out of the room from a consciousness that she ought to offer to stay at home herself. Fanny is very, very grateful about this, but she feels more gratitude than pleasure about it because she thinks, what's the point if Edmund's not going to be there to talk to about it? And she has that thought when they're in the carriage on the way there. She's enjoying the scenery and the beautiful countryside. She found entertainment that could only have been heightened by having Edmund to speak to of what she felt.
Because also she realises that no one else is going to really listen to her.
It's interesting because they compare her and Miss Crawford, who was thinking at least similarly in the fact that she'd like to talk to Edmund. Miss Crawford is not enjoying the view at all. She cares more for people than landscapes. There's a lovely bit where they both see Edmund come over the hill and they go, oh, there he is,
yeah.
together. Which is really cute. But yeah, Maria feels that Mr Rushworth's consequence was hers. Not really much happens in this chapter though. I feel like it's a bridging chapter for what's about to come because some shit is about to go down.
Because they've talked about going to Southerton before, and now it's just, well, let's go, basically, and getting themselves organised and getting in the carriage and going, obviously getting there, but only just getting there. They haven't actually quite got to the house though, have they?
No, it ends with them drawing up to the house.
There's not a lot going on, but there's a lot of going on within the characters themselves, the way they feel about other characters and Fanny, of course.
It's drawn home again, Mrs Norris's dislike of Fanny.
Mm-hmm.
Edmund trying to make sure that she's treated well. The very different feelings of Miss Crawford and Fanny, yet somehow they both are attracted to Edmund. And then we also get, again, Maria being bitchy. Is that a character trait?
Until she's the queen pin.
And that is our summary of Chapter 8 of Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. My name is Frances Duncan. You can find me at francesduncanwrites.com and on Twitter at frances_Duncan. Thank you for listening and we wish you happy reading.